Hey everyone and welcome. So let's talk about divine favor. Most of us think of it as some kind of mysterious blessing, something that just happens, right? But what if it's not random at all? What if it actually operates more like a law of nature? Something predictable, reliable, and something that you can actively participate in? Well, let's dive in. So this really gets us to the big question we're tackling today. Is divine grace always a free gift? I mean, that's the idea many of us grew up with. But what if I told you that in some traditions, it's not a gift at all? It's something that's earned, based on a system that works in a completely different way.
So first, let's just get on the same page. We're going to look at that familiar idea of grace before we explore a totally different framework.
Okay, in a lot of religious contexts, this is the classic definition of grace. It's unmerited favor, a pure gift. And the crucial point here, the part to really focus on, is that it's seen as completely independent of your actions or what you do. It's just given freely. And you can see this idea of unearned favor popping up in so many traditions. In Christianity, you've got sola gratia, which means grace alone. In Hinduism, prasada is divine favor from a deity. Pure Land Buddhism, rebirth depends on Amitabha's grace. But take a look at that last one, Judaism's chesed. It talks about a covenant, a mutual obligation. And that's our first little hint that maybe divine favor isn't always a one-way street. So now let's totally switch gears and explore a completely different framework. We're going to turn to the Quranic concept of Rahma. Now, it's usually translated as mercy, but as you're about to see, it functions a lot less like a feeling and much more like a universal law. Right, so according to this perspective, Rahma isn't just some warm, fuzzy feeling of compassion from the divine. No, it's presented as a legislative power. It's an active principle that governs the moral universe with the same kind of consistency as a physical law, like, I don't know, gravity. It's all about cause and effect. This slide, right here, really gets to the heart of the difference. On one side, you have grace as this unearned, kind of random gift that's totally separate from your actions. On the other, you have rahma, which is framed as a lawful, earned consequence, a predictable return on your sincere efforts. It's a huge shift from being a passive recipient to an active participant. So you might be asking, how does this law even work? Well, it's got this cool dual function. Rahma is the divine guidance that shows you how to act the right way. And it's also the guaranteed reward you get for acting that way. It's the whole system, from the instruction manual all the way to the final result. Now, to make this all a bit less abstract, let's look at a really practical example from the Quran. It's the concept of infaq, which is spending for the good of the community. But get this, it's framed not just as charity, but as a spiritual investment. Wow. I mean, that is such a powerful metaphor. Just think about it for a second. Your good deed isn't just this one-off thing. It's like a seed you plant in a divinely ordered system, and that system has built-in laws that absolutely guarantee a multiplied return. Not just one for one, but an exponential harvest. One seed, 7 shoots, 100 grains each. You do the math. That is a 700-fold return. And this isn't just poetry. The point is that the reward isn't random or arbitrary. It's a predictable, almost mathematical outcome that is baked right into this divine law of recompense. Okay, so there's a guaranteed return. But, and this is a huge but, here's the crucial catch. The system isn't just mechanical, it's a moral one. The quality of your intention, your sincerity, that is the single most important factor that determines whether your investment pays off at all. And the Quran uses 2 more brilliant analogies to explain this. If you give with pride, or you're just showing off, or you're trying to make the person feel like they owe you, it's like trying to plant a seed on a dusty rock. The first rain, which represents the divine law, it just washes the deed away. It's gone, canceled. But if you give with sincerity, it's like planting in a beautiful, lofty garden where the deed takes root and just grows like crazy. And here is the most important point of all. The ultimate reward isn't just external, it's internal. Sincere giving strengthens your own self, a concept the Source calls Khudi, which is like the core of your being. You are literally cultivating an inner garden that becomes so fertile and self-sustaining, it thrives in any condition, rain or shine. That empowered inner state, that is the real return on your investment. Okay, so this brings us to our final, and honestly, maybe the most profound point. What's the highest form of this mercy, this rahma? It's not just the reward you get for your actions, but the guidance that stops you from making mistakes in the first place.
The logic presented here is actually very clear. So, step 1, the human condition is one of weakness. We're prone to making mistakes, to self-destruction. Step 2, in response, God provides guidance, a set of laws and ethics, specifically to lighten your burdens. And step 3, the result? That guidance itself is the greatest act of mercy because it acts like a guardrail, protecting us from our own worst tendencies.
So let's just quickly recap the core ideas behind Rahma. First, it's a universal law, not some random gift. It's an active system of cause and effect. It rewards sincere effort and investment. Its ultimate goal is to develop your own inner self. And finally, its highest form is the divine guidance that protects us and makes all this growth possible. And that leaves us with one last question to think about. Which system is ultimately more merciful? One that works like a lottery, where divine favor is just a gift of chance? Or one that works like a law, where your sincere efforts are absolutely guaranteed a bountiful, predictable reward? It's a pretty fascinating question about the nature of justice and mercy. Thanks for joining me today.